Hi, I'm Steve Watson, the Maricopa County School Superintendent, and thank you for joining me for the culmination of AZ Bioscience Week. Today we will hear from students who took on the Medical Patent Challenge, and our distinguished panel members, Dr. Jeffrey Jensen from Midwestern University College of Podiatric Medicine, and Carolina Marquez from Arizona State University's Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute, and Yanni Deros from Cirque and Adam will answer students' questions pertaining to the challenge. Let's check out these new medical innovations.
So we're going to be joined today by three amazing professionals who are on the Zoom chat with me. And I'm going to ask them to take a minute to introduce themselves, just a quick minute. Who are you? Where do you work? And what's something that you're interested in? What's something that you're excited to do when you're not at work? So Dr. Jensen, you want to get us started?
Sure. Thank you, Brian. My name is Jeffrey Jensen. I am the Dean of the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine at Midwestern University. And in addition to education, I have an entrepreneurial background, and I have invented multiple products to help patients in the medical fields. But most of my patents involve either diabetic foot care or fracture care or infectious disease antibiotic-like treatments for patients that have infections. And so I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm really excited to hear about the students' innovations. Something interesting about me is I once climbed Mount McKinley, the highest mountain in North America, many years ago, so thank you.
We've been working on last month's STEM challenge, which was we wanted you to think like a bioscience professional and create a solution for a student or an athlete who's either dehydrated, rehabilitating an injury, or preventing an injury. And I know some of you guys took this to a completely different place, and that is amazing. We're super excited that you didn't limit yourself to these parameters and you kind of grew beyond that with your own interests, because that's what this is about. It's about finding your own passions and your own interests and looking to design and find solutions to those challenges and problems that exist. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that. So we have students from, I'm going to go back, from all over Arizona that took on this challenge. We had I think 18 schools that were going through there, and we're going to be listening to stories from 7 of those schools who are going to share where they're at in their journey and some of the ideas that they came up with. So all of you determined a scene or a scenario where you first pictured that you wanted to focus on, and they're all a little bit different. Some of you are in middle school, some of you are in elementary school, and some of you are in the high school level. And so you all looked at different things that you had interest in. From there, you identified some of the problems or the challenges that existed and started looking through and working through that design thinking process to come up with a solution. So those solutions are all over the place. And some of them are just in the idea phase. You're still just brainstorming and you haven't quite flushed it out as far as what you want to do, what you want to create, and what your unique solution is that's going to help in this scenario. Some of you are looking at current solutions that exist. And how would those fit to be able to identify a solution to be able to help students with those needs and stuff like that, which is absolutely great. And it's an amazing part of this process. But some of you are at that final stage of creating and testing that unique product. We're going to be here to support you on any level, whether you're just at the drawing phase and you're making some sketches, whether you're thinking about some 3D modeling or some 2D modeling. We're excited to learn more about that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Rogers. Oh, sorry. We're dealing with tech issues over here. I'm from Mountain Ridge High School. I have our senior students here today. We have 4 different groups that will be presenting their solutions to dehydration, preventing dehydration in high school athletes. So we will let them take over the mic and share their information.
Okay, so we also focused on kids as well as high school athletes. So we came up with a solution of the edible water bottle. Pretty much it's just calcium lactate combined with sodium alginate put in a mixture, and it hardens up into a little ball. and it's a little gelatinous, and it has water on the inside, and it helps to rehydrate. And it really helps because it's a fun solution. It kind of like pops in your mouth, and it kind of just like fills it with water. And then you can also add an electrolyte solution to it to make and help increase the amount of hydration that you get from this bottle.
Thank you, Ethan. Is anybody else going to add from your team to it, or is that the presentation?
That is presentation, short and sweet.
Okay, thank you. I like it. You know, when I first looked at this, the first thing that popped into my mind was 5-hour energy and different ideas that all of a sudden took the world by storm. So edible water bottles, I started thinking of athletes, but not only that, I started thinking about search and rescue teams. I started thinking about people backpacking and mountaineering. I started thinking about military personnel and their need to have water in areas that there aren't any. And I think it's very unique because I think what you could do is put different electrolytes or different solutions inside this edible water bottle to meet the needs of various people at different times, depending upon what they're doing. I mean, you could even put something together for the elderly population that doesn't like to drink. If you could make it that they'd find it easy to utilize and drink and help increase their fluids. I did not do a U.S. patent and trademark office search on this, but I would imagine that if you were to do that, Ethan, you've got some uniqueness going on here, and I wouldn't doubt that it's patentable at some level. This is the neat thing about working with young minds. You're always thinking out of the box. And then when I see things like this, I say to myself, geez, why didn't I invent something like that? You know? So I commend you for this. I think it's likely patentable, and you may need to alter it or do some additions or something if in the event that you're starting to infringe on other people's patents. But I like how you're thinking out of the box, and the creativeness and the innovation are obvious. And I think there's a market need out there in all those different areas that I was commenting on over and above just athletics. I can even imagine a marathon runner like in the Boston Marathon on Monday, taking one of these at one of the aid stations, instead of trying to drink out of a cup, just eat one of these little packets to get hydrated. So I commend you, and I think it's a beautiful idea, and it can be a very elegant solution to a significant problem. So congratulations.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Jensen. I'm going to move on to the next one, our water tracking app with water bottle sensor.
Hi guys, my name is Aspen Mathis. My partner is Landry Estrada, and we created an app called Hydrolite. So this is a water bottle for in-season athletes. The app creates a way for athletes to understand and track the necessary amounts of water their body needs. The water bottle connects by Bluetooth and has a weight to measure the amount of water being consumed from the bottle. The aspect of dehydration comes from athletes not thinking water is important to drink throughout the day, or not drinking enough to compensate for their high activity levels, depending on their sport. On this app, it will first start the brand name Hydrolite. The next screen will take you to a sign-up page where you add all your personal information such as health factors, age, gender, height, weight, and your exercise factors. If it's the type of exercise, intensity level, time per day you spend exercising, and the environment. So if you're outside or indoor athlete, and what time of year you'll be working out. This will give us a better understanding for your sport and the type of athlete you are. Your physical strength and stuff like that also goes into thought when this is happening. Then we'll go to the personal levels page, which can be shared with your trainers and coaches. It will add your pre-existing or current injuries. And using all this information, the app will provide a chart that will show you the amount of water and electrolytes that are advised for you to drink per day for your sport. You're able to add your trainers and coaches so that they can add information, update health factors, and give their thoughts on your hydration levels. I think that's a really important part so that you can be held accountable. The next slide will have your own log, which will show your progress. So that's when it connects to the water bottle. So it'll show you how much you've drank throughout the day and line up with the hours. The log will show the exact amount of water recommended to drink per day. It'll coordinate with your sleep schedule, practice time, and school or work day to be more attainable. So it's not like drink water while you're sleeping to like have the limit be made. So then our additional log will be your team log, and it just adds like the competition aspect so all your teammates can see it, and it's kind of just like the competition to drink as much water throughout the day to keep athletes motivated.
Thank you, Aspen.
And then we also decided how we would test this. So we would do 2 tests. The first test would be conducted to detect any technical errors in the app or the water tracking water bottle. To test the solution, there would be 3 athletes to use the app and the water bottle for 7 days to monitor for errors. The athletes will input their information into the app, then the app will generate hydration goals, and the water tracking water bottles will be provided to the athletes to be tested as well. The accuracy of the generated hydration goals we checked once the information has been input first and at the end of the week. Over the week, the accuracy of the water intake that the water bottle measures will be monitored to see if there are any errors with the bottle or communication of information between the water bottle and app. And after the week, if any errors were found, then they'll be fixed and tested again by repeating this process. And then the second test would be conducted to measure the success of the solution. So it'd be determined by comparing hydration levels in athletes before and after using Hydrolite. And so this test would be more extensive. It would be conducted at a middle school and a high school to see if or how age would affect the solution. And there'd be 3 sports teams, 6 sports teams in all. It'd be cross country, volleyball, and basketball for variety. And information about the athletes that determine their hydration goals we taken prior to testing to fully understand their hydration levels and after using and then they will their hydration level goals will be taken into account, and then for 2 weeks they will be just normal how they drink water and how they hydrate, and then all that data will be recorded. And then for 2 weeks after, the athletes will use Hydrolite, and then so the data that would be recorded after the 2 weeks would be how hydrated the athletes are based on the water that they drink and how much they should be drinking and how much water the individual athletes drink, and as a team, their hydration levels. And then after the 2 weeks would be compared, and if they were more hydrated after using Hydrolite, then our solution be considered successful. And if they were still dehydrated or more hydrated before they had used Hydrolite, then it'd be considered unsuccessful, and then we would review it to make any changes necessary.
Wow, good thinking. Obviously, dehydration is a huge challenge in athletes or the geriatric population, and our ability to measure what people are taking in and compare it to what should be taken in, I think is very, very important. It could be the next step in advancing science. I love your app. I imagine an application like this is indeed patentable. You may, again, have to make a few changes to it, but I could see companies like Nike or Gatorade or Powerade or somebody like that wanting to utilize this for athletes and the population in general. I love the fact that you've already got a plan to validate its usefulness and its accuracy. And I would encourage you, if you move forward with this, to keep an open mind, because lots of times when you actually bring an idea to the users, the end users, be it the athletes, you're going to have to make lots of changes based on their needs. And I urge you to keep an open mind, because sometimes this is an exercise in progress, right? And then you take their feedback and you keep changing it, and you get it to the point where A, it works like it's supposed to, and B, it helps athletes or any other individual that's concerned about dehydration as it should. So Aspen and Landry, I commend you on your work, and I would encourage you to continue to move forward with it. It really is a great idea. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to our next one here, which is going to be, there we go, our biosensor belt.
Hi. Hi. Right. So our innovation to help athletes hydrate. My partner and I, we created the Water Flex Belt, and this belt is a simplistic and comfortable design. It will include biosensors that will measure your hydration levels based on the sweat, like the electrolytes found in your sweat. And so it'll measure the hydration levels. And this belt will be connected to an app on your phone where, a map will be shown on your phone of where you could get water, food, healthy foods nearby. And then there's also going to be like challenges on the app, to encourage athletes to use it. And yes, the belt itself, there will be a reflective strap on the back of it, and then biosensors inside of the front strap. And this belt will be placed on your skin for more effective results. And so 2 collapsible water bottles will be on the sides, and a weight sensor will be on the bottom of the water bottles in order to measure, if you need more water or not. And then the belt will connect to your phone to remind you if you need water, when you need water. And even if you don't have your phone nearby, it'll still, the belt itself will like beep a message needing that you need more water intake. And my partner, Zach, will explain more about it.
Okay, so one thing also with the belt is it connects to your phone similar to how phones can connect to a diabetic sensor. Like it would be a similar technology. And then it would be, the belt itself would look similar to kind of like a weightlifting belt. It would go around like the lower abdomen. And then like she said, the sensors, their main goal is to analyze all the electrolytes like the salt and your sodium level, compare it to the water in the sweat. And then through that, it'll determine how hydrated you are and let you know when you need to drink more. The main objective with it, of course, is just to keep athletes and anyone who does physical activities hydrated. And then to test this, we would be able to give it to athletes on sports teams and have them see how they handle it, see if it helps them keep hydrated, especially in Arizona, because let's face it, it's really hot here. So having them like run around, use it during like football or like wrestling or something while they're sweating will show us if it works or not.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Natalie and Zach. So the collapsible water bottles are there on the belt so that if you're thirsty or your sensors tell you need to drink, you've got fluid there, right? And then, okay, I like that. And then, again, for athletes, it's great, but it could be used across many different areas, whether it's hikers or the elderly population that we're always worried about keeping them hydrated, even children sometimes with hydration issues, with illness, people that are sick or vomiting, they're always worried about keeping them hydrated. This could give you an indication of hydration levels. So it's always fun when you make inventions to be able to let that invention help multiple groups of people, because that'll help you not only in the patent application as you start thinking about unique ways to get a patent or ways to make your patent application unique, but also when you start thinking forward about marketing your product in the future, because obviously the more sales you make, the more money you're going to make with your invention, right? So I love the fact you're starting with athletes, because there's a quick turnover between being hydrated and then being dehydrated. I think, so again, some validation will be important. Those skin monitors, like with the diabetes sensors and things, it's excellent technology and can be expanded upon. But there's nothing wrong with putting forth a provisional patent application and see where you land based on looking at other application patents that are very similar to this. Every once in a while, I put in for a patent application thinking, oh my gosh, somebody must have invented this before. And to my surprise, nobody had. So I think that carries over for all the projects that we've talked about today, because you just never know when you're going to find something that really has a niche that fills the need that has never been treaded on before by other inventors. So I think it's brilliant, and it's something that's worth pursuing going forward. Zach, it might be a good idea to open it up to anybody that has questions about all of these areas, because I could even see some overlap. I could see you partnering together on some of these, like the water bottle with the belt, right? For volumes and things. And it's just amazing what can happen when you put some smart minds together and you start sharing ideas. So anybody have any comments or questions about any of the projects that we've talked about today? Josh, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, we do have a little extra time. The other rooms needed some extra time too. So we're going to be going until 10:49. We've got one more presentation. And then my thought was at the end of this next presentation, we'll open it up for questions, comments, and anybody that wants to can go ahead and unmute at that time. And feel free to ask any questions then. So last one, we'll just move on here to the electrolyte gummy. Excited to hear about this. Go right ahead.
Okay, so it's me and my partner Jenny. Unfortunately, she's not here today, but we wanted to focus on the electrolyte part of hydration, because electrolytes are necessary to basically allow the water to like dehydrate its cells. So what we wanted to do was create a gummy snack that had electrolytes in it, so you could take it as like a supplement along with water to faster hydrate yourself. So we tried two different methods. One of them was like soaking some gummies in an electrolyte solution. And for this method, or for this model, we use Pedialyte because we're on a strict time schedule. Ideally, we'd want to use like our own mixture. But so that didn't turn out so well. It was like the wrong consistency. So then we tried creating gummies with electrolytes like in them. And that one was a better solution. It was made with Jell-O, gelatin, and Pedialyte. And it worked really well as it contains the proper electrolytes. We believe that the electrolyte gummies would just be better like as a supplement to take along with water, and then it'll like help faster hydrate.
I think that's great, Tatiana. Pedialyte has been shown to just be almost a miracle drink for helping people recover from dehydration even. So I think it's brilliant. Are you thinking about having different versions of these gummy bears based on need, or what was your thought in terms of how much electrolyte needs to be in each one in order to say you need 3 gummy bears today, or you need 5, or something like that?
We were thinking about having like different kind of like levels of electrolytes. Like obviously like athletes need more because they're obviously like exerting more like energy, so they need more water intake. So like we were thinking about having like pre-designed like serving sizes. Like athletes would obviously get like a bigger pack, whereas like if you're like just like exercising regularly at home, you could have like a smaller pack.
I think that's a great idea. That's interesting. So this is a supplement to staying hydrated with regular water, adding electrolytes to maximize hydration. I think that's a great idea. I like you and your partner is Jenny. Put your thinking caps on. I like it.
I know we ran a little bit longer, and at the same time, I'm sure we could have spent another hour having some of those conversations, because those were absolutely fascinating. I want to give an opportunity to have all of our professionals give a final thought. And I'm going to start with Mr. Duros, because I know he's sitting at a conference right now, and he probably has to run right now. So Mr. Duros, would you like to leave us with a final thought of things that you took away from that?
Yeah, like I said, the quality of the work exceeded my expectations. I think the students are on great tracks. They learn to define the problem, identify the solution, show prototypes, visuals on how to share the vision of the idea. Some have gotten funding. Mind blown, right? So, it's exciting time to see these future disruptors. And I would love to stay in touch and see if we can advise and provide more. Bravo to you all. Congratulations to the teachers and all the students that participated. Very impressed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Marquez.
Yeah, I am absolutely impressed with all the students who definitely put a lot of thought into their products, and I think went through, as Giannis mentioned, all the different ideation phases. And I want to point out, did a great job with, I think, empathizing with what the problem was and really identifying that part of it. I heard a lot of good insight into, well, I have experience with this, or I have seen other people have experience with this, and I talked to them about it. So that's a great way to identify the problem, and then also good things to keep in mind as you go through that prototyping phase. You're keeping those things in mind, because when you go through the prototyping phase, you realize, oh, well, this wouldn't work for that group of people that I wanted to make this work for. So great job, everybody.
Wonderful. Dr. Jensen.
I was also likewise was very impressed. And I'd like to leave you with the thought that if you can dream it, you can make it happen. You are all so fortunate, and I shared this in our small group, that you're in an environment where you're enabled to think outside of the box, and you're able to develop solutions to problems that not only deal with athletes with dehydration, but could it deal with multiple different people, even geriatric populations or people that are sick in the hospital that are constantly fighting dehydration. So the concept of ideas and solutions will be with you for the rest of your life. And if you come up with good ideas, remember to go to the United States Patent and Trademark Office page so that you can literally put your idea in and see what's out there in the world. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of you have dozens of patents before you're 40 years old, if you continue with this mindset and the ideas that you can make a difference, because you really can make a difference. And I echo the previous folks that say it far exceeded my expectations. You all did just a phenomenal job. And if you ever have any questions or anything that I could help you with, I would always be willing to help you vet any ideas, or if you need any other help with inventions, let me know. Thank you again for letting me be part of it.
I want to thank all of you for taking on this opportunity and for embracing this mindset, because it's challenging to create something that's new and to create something that doesn't exist. And the more what we want out of people in the world is to be able to look at problems as an opportunity, and to look at challenges as not a negative thing, but as an opportunity to make an impact, an opportunity to make a difference. So the skills that you're practicing and you're reinforcing right now are the ones that we want for every student that's graduating from schools and coming out into our communities. So thank you so much for taking on this opportunity. Please stay in touch. Please keep us updated on your progress, what you guys are doing with your solutions, because we'd love to hear more about it. And I know all of our professionals want to hear more as you're kind of going through that iteration. So thank you so much for joining us today. You guys have a wonderful weekend.